County Executive Anthony Picente and let him follow up on that. What do you think? Good morning.
I think it's a pretty sad day when the President of the United States says something so disparaging and stupid about his own state, let alone any state, and when the governor can't find time to weigh in himself, on the comment as well. So you have the leader of the state and the leader of the country, basically, not doing anything to help the situation or to defend the situation.
Did the governor not take issue with that statement?
Well, the governor, no. From what I understand, the statement was issued from his office, not from him.
Got it.
Which, I find that, overall appalling. And, I just listened to the last caller that was on talking about, and then, look, we can argue about, and we all agree on the state regulations and everything, but does that make it right? Does that make everything what took place yesterday right?
Right.
And what does that do for us in trying to attract business when the president, and he didn't talk about, but the interesting thing is the president didn't talk about business taxes yesterday. He didn't talk about regulations. He talked about people yesterday.
Right.
Read the statement again. And that's where all the people who, say, oh, Trump says it right, but then when he says something they don't like, they turn around and say, well, he didn't mean it that way. Well,
right.
He absolutely meant it that way because he doesn't get it. And so he brought jobs to Wisconsin, though. It's not his, his friend Terry Gow of Foxconn, and that was how that whole thing started a year ago. A year ago, earlier this year.
They're talking about, here's, and I'm going back and forth with somebody that I know that's a bit of on the anti side, saying we're not going to accomplish all this stuff. But what I find interesting is when it's said we're going to bring this number of jobs to the Mohawk Valley, everybody's always like, wow, yeah, I believe it when I see it. But, you make one announcement that Foxconn is going to bring 13,000 jobs to Wisconsin, and it's the law. That is exactly it. It's the gospel.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Again, you can't have it both ways. And that goes for my other, some of my colleagues in government, too, who can't, see the forest for the trees on this one and defend this. There's no defending this. This was not, this is how we make America great again, by disparaging areas of the country in particular, but it goes beyond that. It's really unfortunate that that things like this get said and people just pass it off.
Did Chuck Schumer comment on it?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he talked about he represents New York State.
Yeah.
And he's seen all the companies that are here, and that's the other thing. You just not only you disparage the people. You disparage all the businesses that do call New York home and have called New York home for 30, 40, 50, 100 years.
Yeah.
I just look. I jumped on. I tweeted right away because it was just so. I figured maybe he'd pay attention to a tweet. And this is a guy who was here, and you said it, who said he was going to make Upstate. Although he doesn't even call it Upstate anymore. He calls it Upper, which probably means above the Washington Bridge. Yeah.
Well, and I do have to tell you, it's very much like this is what we. If you're from New York City, it's a completely different world up here.
Oh, it is.
They look at it
without a question,
like it's it's a third world country up here.
Well, and I looked. The funny thing though is looking at the media coverage on this, and of course the only people covering it are the upstate media, because the downstate guys are like, there's nothing, you go try and find the story in one of the New York papers this morning, and I don't think you'll see it other than, his comments in the Wall Street Journal. Which,
right. Well, they'd be all over it if he was saying move out of Manhattan.
Or if it was something else that took place, or, so I'm just disgusted with his comments and some of the reaction from others.
All right, Tony, I have a couple people that want to ask you some questions and pipe in, so I'll bring them into the conversation here. Jim is in Utica. Jim, you're on with the county executive.
Good morning. I was going to ask you about previous. You announced that you wanted to have like an incubator at the Griffith Business Park for the growth of the drone industry. What's the status of that?
All right.
Status of that is that we are currently, developing and working with MVCC on that, and we are in the process, when I put my budget together for 2018, to have some, capital expenses to rehabilitate the space necessary for that. So we're moving forward on that.
Mario has a question. They're all calling in now. I don't know. All of a sudden, you're the magnet here to the phones there, Tony. Mario, you're on with County Executive Tony Picente.
Hi, guys. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Well, I had a couple quick questions. First, Mr. Picente, how long have you been the county executive up here?
I'm in my 11th year.
Oh, you're in your 11th year, right?
I am.
This is a referendum on you. This isn't an attack on the people of upstate New York. Did you read the entire Wall Street Journal article? I'm a subscriber. I did. He prefaced it very carefully. He said, people up there are hurting. I'm paraphrasing, but he said, people up there are hurting. You've been a county executive for 11 years. We've been hearing about these nano fairy tales for over 20 years now, for 20 years this year, in fact, okay? This isn't about him attacking New York State. This is a classic rhino liberal move to martyr yourselves and throw yourselves out there. Oh, look at what he's saying about us. This is a referendum on you, not us. He prefaced the whole conference.
Let's let him comment on that, okay?
Well, I mean, look, if it's a referendum on me, I mean, I guess the voters will decide that in the next couple of years if I choose to go again. But the point is,
I think it says a lot when you're in the newspaper.
Mario.
Obama.
Okay.
Let you talk. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, look, a referendum on me. Well, it's a referendum on the entire state, but it's also a referendum on a president who said he was going to make America great again. But the point of it is that we have made great strides. We're making changes. We're improving the economy of upstate. There are more people here than when I took office. There are more. Our unemployment rate is lower. I mean, has Nano been a disappointment? Absolutely. No more so than anybody but me, because I've been front and center, but we have moved forward on it, and part of it wasn't our fault. So, having said that, if you want to put it as a referendum on me, fine.
Yep.
Tell the president to come up here and tell him to take a look and tell him to help us fix it, and then I'll get out of the way and let him fix it.
All right, Justin and Mario, I'm going to let you go. That's he's answered your question. Justin, in New Hartford, you're on the radio with the county executive. Justin.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Tony, so the president is not saying anything about the people of upstate New York. He's saying about the way that we live and the corruption, the shambles that Oneida County and Utica specifically is in. But more importantly, how awesome it was to watch you backpedal on WKTV last night. For the past, year and a half, we've been hearing you talk to us and tell us about the jobs that are coming and the talks that you've been in, when in reality, you had no talks with them. You were sending them packets. They were never interested in New York, but you sat here and you told everyone time and time again, multiple news outlets, that you were in talks with them.
No, I never said that once, Justin.
Many
if you go
times
back
on
and
news
check the
programs.
record.
Justin, I gotta tell you, I remember the conversation with the county executive, and what I got was that you were reaching out to them. Now, whatever that means,
I was the first to reach out to them as well from New York State. Even the state hadn't reached out to them before.
You guys.
Point. Wait a minute,
Justin. Let him respond, and I'll let you.
Let me answer your question.
Yep.
So I never once I never once said that I had any discussions with them. I said we had sent them information. We had reached out to them numerous times and had not heard back. And I was hoping for help from the state as well on that. So, the point there was we never had the opportunity to present this site to Foxconn. Now, that came as a result of Mr. Gao meeting with the president back in January. And if the president wanted to help upstate New York, or any part of New York for that matter, he could have directed Terry Gao, his good friend, another billionaire like him, upstate or in other places of New York. So I've never backpedaled on anything. I've taken the hits when they're needed and I deserve them. And I never backpedaled, nor did I ever say to Foxconn I was talking with them. And
you absolutely have stated in the past that
I have not. Go back, Justin. You're wrong.
Justin, I got to tell you, I've never heard it. To be honest with you,
find it and bring it to me, please.
That would be a great, Justin. If you can find that quote,
I will find the interviews that were on TV.
And I will air anybody's interviews. I'll find if you can find those quotes. We will air that tomorrow. All right.
Absolutely.
I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to have Davey get your phone number, and and we'll reach out to you tomorrow morning. You find that for us, and let's do it. First of all, I got to tell you something, Tony. You'd be far better off right now if you just didn't try. You didn't take a shot, because then you don't get in the mix of this. You've made some really tough political moves. I mean, you have endorsed Democrats in order to try to bring jobs upstate. Now, whether or not that's worked, you're smart enough to know I'm stepping into some political fire here, but you did it for the region. And to me, I feel those are brave political moves that we don't see out of politicians often.
And the other thing is, look, I've never, and whether it's, the phrase backpedaled, I've always said what I believed to everybody, and what I, believe is to be right, whether it's been a Republican or a Democrat or an independent or whoever, or whatever it's been. So, those arguments go back to, I did what was best for my community, not for myself. Nothing benefited me, and nothing ever has and will in that regard. I do it for the community, and I did. And look, we can look at all that stuff, and we can look at a $300 million piece for the hospital, and the $600 million that still sits on that hill in Marcy that will come through. And we can look at, the $20 million that's going into the Utica Auditorium that has brought, that, and I can tell you, and I'd be glad to, been a part of that and help secure those funds and other funds for the area.
Yeah.
Have I been let down? Of course I have. But I mean, I've never, backed away from, a political discussion based on party, or whether it's my party or another party. I've never done that. I've said what I believe was right and wrong. And when I look at this statement from the president, he did talk about the people, and he didn't single out Utica or whatever, or Oneida County. And if he did, I'd be glad to host them and have him come here and see what it is. But the point of it is he talked about the people of New York, and he talked about them, that they're not safe, they're not working, they're not doing anything, and if they want to just leave their homes. No president should say that, no leader should say that. And furthermore, to just set the record straight, I'm totally disappointed as well in the governor that he didn't have the courage to put out his own statement and say something about upstate. So you got two leaders in the case of the state and the president that really, yesterday was a sad day for all of New York because of those two.
Yeah.
Because of one's crazy statement and inaccurate statement, and the other's lack of weighing in on his own and defending his own state for upstate New York.
I'm going to do.
So I'm saying that,
yeah.
and that, so that goes to all the people that say I agree with everything the governor does.
I'm going to do one more, Joe and Oriskany, and then we'll break. Joe, quick question for the county executive.
Quick. Did you go visit him when he came up here at a rally?
No, I did not.
You didn't go?
No,
did you, or did you?
He's saying no.
He
when
said
President Trump came up here as a candidate, did you go?
He said he did not. He answered. He said, no, I did not.
No.
Well, then, come on. A member of your own party. You went when Cuomo came up here.
No, wait a minute.
You went
Let
to
me
see
talk
Cuomo.
about the presidency.
So how could you stand there and criticize? I mean,
Because
you still
I
went and see them then and represented.
Hold on there, Joe. Let him respond.
I didn't look. There was a primary at that time, just like anything, and it was in my party. I didn't support.
He was a member of your party.
Listen.
Hang on a second. Let me finish.
Okay.
I supported John Kasich. That's who I supported in the primaries. So
you could have went to the rally as a
Trump,
Republican.
nor did I go to any other candidate that came around. I supported John Kasich in the primary.
Joe, that's an answer. It's a political answer you got to accept, because if that's just what would happen in any situation. If you're supporting another candidate, you're not going to go to an opponent's rally.
County leader, you go as the leader of the county to represent.
No, it's political.
You go for the party.
That's where everybody likes to have it both ways.
You're ahead of the game. No matter who wins, you're still in.
All right, Joe.
You don't go at all.
Joe, I'm going to let you go and let the county executive wrap this up. Okay, Tony. Boy, you brought on some fire. And I hope you've enjoyed what I enjoy every day.
I do. That's fine.
Dipping in. Yeah.
I did not go because I wasn't supporting him.
Yeah.
At that time. I wasn't, and I made that clear. I made it clear then, because I introduced John Kasich up at MDCC a week later.
Right. That is to me, it's what is going to happen in a campaign, and no one really thought Donald Trump was going to win at that time. By the way, but here we are.
But, so had I gone, it would have made it better today.
Yeah, Tony, had you gone to Griffiths that day, we would be touting 13,000 jobs at the moment. Because you didn't go to Griffiths.
All right.
Okay.
You'll have to carry that cross too.
And I guess, yeah.
What I was going to say is,
I'm responsible for, the Watergate, too. I mean,
You were talking with Russians.
all right,
Admit
all
it.
right. Tony Picente, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
All right.
And have a better day.
I will.
Okay. All right.